So I think there's a confusion and challenge. Man to find his own place, or what he should do, or what, what's the right thing to do to be the best man he can be, for instance, or a better man. What does it mean? With my men's team and the organization that I'm in, I believe what I'm trying to do is to bring clarity to that role. Actually, what is my role? How am I going to be successful, and what does it mean to be successful? I am trying to define man by tying it to masculinity, is try to find a root, a source, which is more or less has been always there throughout the history. I mean, regardless of the cultures and regardless of the historical periods. I mean, in the organization that I'm in, there's men from all walks of life. There are all ages, all marital status, all sexual orientation, race, language, culture, and blue collar, white collar. I mean, it's all men. It's obviously, so that makes me obvious that regardless of the social roles or the social strata that they're in, men need something, right? Men, first of all, need to be with other men in a safe way. I think that's one of the most important things. For a man to find his own purpose and to find ways how to deal with it, when he feels down, to gather his courage again and to commit to something and to be inspected, to be supported. He needs to be with men, I believe, that he trusts. That that there's an absolute trust that if he fails, that there's going to be still support available from these men. That we meet once a week, about 2.5 to 3 hours, 3 hours mostly. My team is now 11 men. I believe 12 men. We just one recently joined and we've become 12. It's not for every man. It doesn't work for every man. There are men who get into this work and leave in a couple of weeks or months, and there are men who's been doing it for 25 years, non-stop. And there are men who did this work and then left and come back again. So how does this work, that team, in my team, and in that subculture that I'm in, with that organization, is men support each other by being masculine, which means that actually, you don't sugarcoat anything. You don't round the edges. Just say to the face whatever you see, whatever the truth, without being afraid of looking bad, or without being afraid that you're going to hurt someone, because the ultimate objective is to help each other, and for that the shortest and the best way and the most masculine way is to be just direct. Anyway, so some men can take this, some men cannot take it very easily. It's a difficult thing to do, to be told, like, where you screw up and what your fear really is. It's uncomfortable. It's very safe, but uncomfortable. Actually, the more uncomfortable, the better, because the more at the age I am, the more potential for that I can grow personally in this work, because then I'm going to be answering questions that I don't want to answer normally, and in a social environment I can avoid them, but in that environment I cannot. It's about doing it. It's about declaring it, being your word, finding your purpose in life, committing to it to the end, and do it. This is a tool. This is a tool that you use, which is a very, very humanly tool, very, but it's very sort of it doesn't go by the rules of the society. So it's a little bit, you can't do that out of that group. It's like a mask, actually, to put a mask. So it is wonderfully okay. It's perfect tool to have a mask for a man when he's up in the society, because you need it. You need it when you talk to. I need it when I'm at my work, when I'm with my friends, when I'm with certain social gatherings, that I need to be in a certain way for not to get harmed. But when I'm with my men, I don't need that mask. And not only I don't need, it's not good to have that mask on, because that it's gonna filter me. It's gonna stop me from being who I want to be. There are certain concepts that are important to be a man, to be a mature masculine man, which is like honor, courage, to accept and to acknowledge your fear and failure, and commitment. When you commit to when you say something, you're going to do it, you commit to it, and there's no way back. That comes with a way of being which you can use, which you can practice in the men's, I can practice in the men's team, certain exercises and whatever, and also, of course, real life. I think it's one of the definitions of maturity, to act and behave in an appropriate manner with respect to your surroundings and circumstances. I mean, so in a way, it's about learning to deal with the challenges that you encounter in life. It's not intellectualizing things. It's mostly on the contrary. It's go back to basics, back to primal, primitive feeling that I forget, like to have balls, actually. That's what it is. Yeah. So, to feel that, and by using it to realize what you said you were going to do, to live an honorable life. I can't believe I'm talking like this, but that's true. When I said team, actually, we are not friends. We're not trying to be friends, or we are teammates first, then friends. Because, as I told you, friends come with other things. You have to be kind to your friend. You have to be, yes, you can push your friend, you can tell the truth, but up to a point. Yeah. In this team, there's no point. There's to the end. Yeah. You don't let go. Okay. In a safe environment, in a team's environment or a man's environment, just like I described, you can do and be anything you want, without being judged. And one of the greatest things that I'm Turkish. I'm living here for 11 years now, but I'm Turkish, and I'm coming from a completely different social background from most of the men that I know in the team. But when we talk, and it's so amazing that actually how the fears lie, at the bottom, the fears, the weaknesses, the greatest anxieties, and that kind of, all same. I mean, coming from very same point. That when I hear other men opening up like that and whatever, I feel a great affinity, and then I understand that I'm not alone. Actually, I'm not the only one that feels like that. It's unbelievably, it's true, and it's beautiful, because I feel like the whatever biological, natural, innate qualities I have as a man is being realized more this way. The more masculine I am, the more it's realized. So it's like a self-realization.
And how many years have you worked?
I'm doing it about 3 years. Yeah, I'm sort of pretty new, let's say. But
how did you get into it?
A friend of mine who was also my chiropractor, actually, and I was going through a difficult time, divorce and that kind of stuff, and he has seen that and said, would you like to come and guest a meeting, to my men's team? And I said, okay, sure, why not? But listen, I mean, every week when I go to meetings, sometimes one part of mine, it doesn't want to go. Just doesn't want to go because it's very uncomfortable there. But also the other part wants to go to that challenge and to grow, the personal growth and everything. Right? I've seen men who have saved their marriages through this work by the help of their men. I mean, by the way, nobody's playing the counselor or the psychologist. Okay, if a man really needs a psychologist, for instance, or a lawyer or whatever, the man's job is to encourage him to go and get that, do that. But through this commitment and whatever, saying something you're going to do, and what do you want in life, and really what's the success, through these, I've seen men who saved their marriages, who saved their businesses, who, you know, who get along well with their long lost, whatever, you know, brothers or sons and that kind of stuff. It's effective. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, it definitely helped me that way too. Men are just trying to be a better man.